In this short video, I'm going to show you how to very quickly paint up the US Mudskipper Jump Walker for Warlord Games Konflikt 47. Let's first take a look at what's inside. First, opening up this little container, you're going to get this set of decals over here. Also, this proof that Melissa had packaged this. Thank you, Melissa. These are the resin arms and legs, the pewter weapons, and then the main hull of the Mudskipper Walker right here. Wash the parts in warm soapy water before starting. Here are all the parts clean and off your sprues. You'll want to use the instructions at the back of the box to put this model together. I'm going to be putting this all on an 80mm round separately purchased MDF base. Assembling this requires super glue. I use gel super glue and an accelerator. I apply glue to one side, accelerator to another, and then put them together. The accelerator does leave a residue, so you may want to wash the model before you start painting. You will have a choice of either heavy machine guns or bazookas for your arm weapons. I chose bazookas. The first step is to zenithal, highlight, and prime this model. You'll want to start with black primer and apply it either through an aerosol can or an airbrush. Watch to make sure that your coverage is complete all the way around the model. It needs to be nice and black. Next, switch to a white primer or white paint, and out of an aerosol can or a airbrush, paint it at a 45-degree angle all the way around the model so you have highlights up on top and shadows in the recesses. I'll be painting this model in the classic green of the US Army. For this, I'm going to be using Camo Cloak Speed Paint and shooting it straight out of an airbrush. You don't have to thin it down. Put it in the airbrush and then just kind of spray it all over the model. And wherever you want more color saturation, apply the paint a little bit longer in these areas. You may have to make several passes on this model to make sure that all the areas of it are covered in green. And it's okay to hit this from all different angles because it's already zenithal highlighted, so all the recesses will remain dark. Once the model is done and dried, it should look just like this. Next, I'm going to use matte black acrylic war paint and apply it onto all the gun barrels, which are mainly on the snout of the Jump Walker. The barrels of the two auto cannons on its shoulders also get black. And whatever weapon you chose for the underslung arm weapons gets black also. I next use gunmetal metallic acrylic paint and I apply it into several areas, like these conduits on the very top of the Jump Walker. You want to paint these silver. These springs at the back of the feet. At the ankles, there are these gear-like looking things, which I also paint silver. There is something that looks like a coiled spring right around the hip area. Apply silver all the way around those rings. And then you'll also want to pick up all the various rivets that are all over this Jump Walker. It really is up to you how many of these you want to paint silver, but I think it adds a lot of points of interest. It makes the model kind of come alive a little bit, look a little bit more industrial. So I go ahead and just pinpoint where all these rivets and bolts are, and I slap some silver onto all of these. Next, I switch to Void Shield Blue acrylic paint. This is going to go on all the glass sections in the canopy. There are several segments to this glass, so use a medium detailing brush and carefully apply it into the glass areas. Be as careful as you can to try to apply it within the lines, but if you make a mistake, a wet brush rinsed off can easily erase any mistakes that you make. At the back of the Walker, you'll see various round openings. You'll apply the Void Shield Blue into all of these. There are 4 searchlights in the front. Apply blue to these as well. Next, switch to Weapon Bronze Metallic Acrylic Paint and apply it onto these ammo belts on the very top of the Jump Walker. There are 2 ammo belts total, 1 on each side. Next, I'm going to apply some chipping and weathering to this model by using a very messed up old brush and some silver that was left over from before, and then just basically dab it onto areas randomly all over the Walker just to make it look like chipped paint or battlefield damage. Next, I'm going to dry brush some uniform gray onto all the black weapon areas using a makeup brush like this. This will give a little bit of highlighting to these black areas which are otherwise very dark and hard to see. Next, I'm going to apply some Army Painter Blue Wash, and this is going to go on basically the periphery of all the glass areas. This is a very easy application. You don't want to drown the area. Just apply it as a highlight around the areas like I'm showing here. And this will give a nice tint. You'll also want to do it for the searchlights. And then at the back of the Jump Walker, you'll want to apply it onto all the Rift Tech openings. I'm next going to use Soft Tone Wash from Army Painter. This serves two purposes. Besides providing a little bit more contrast between the highlights and the recess areas, it also naturally weathers the model. When you apply it onto any of the rivets or any of the seam lines on the model, it provides these two effects all in one. You'll want to apply it also onto all the silver areas. This will give it a little bit of a corroded look and also give it that nice contrast that you're looking for with washes. When painting the back of the walker, be sure not to paint the orbs themselves, just the space between them, because the orbs already have the blue tone that you had applied earlier. You'll also want to apply this wash onto the struts of the canopy. This will give it a little bit more definition and make it look crisper. Now it's time to apply some decals. This decal that came with the kit, really you can only use the ones that are on the left hand side, which are a little bit smaller. Nothing else really fits this walker. Apply it into some water with tweezers, then put some of this micro set onto areas you want to put the decal, transfer the decal onto your brush and then onto the model. Move it into position with your brush and then just keep on going with all the rest of the decals. You'll want to put a sparing amount, don't put too many, just to give it accent, but don't overdo it. You're almost done. Now if you base the model like I did, you'll want to apply some flocking to it so the base doesn't look unfinished. Just apply some Elmer's glue onto the top of the base, and then after that just kind of pinch the flocking and flood the top of the base with it. It should stick in place and give it a nice finished look without too much effort. After that, protect your work with 1 or 2 coats of matte varnish. Here is the turntable view of your Mudskipper Jump Walker, all done. In record time. This only took me about an hour, and now you're ready for a game of Konflikt 47 on the tabletop. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like content like this, follow along and I will have more on the way. Until the next time, take care and happy hobbying.